Hey, John. It's still the 24th of September 2014. I just want to explain this warrant we had printed today. Copy went to the bank, our bank, ANZ Bank, in Queen Street, and that's going to the manager for 61 Cook Street. Okay, we've got the certificate of title gone to them, and I'm wanting them to do a fraud check, just like a normal bank would do a foreclosure. I want them to foreclose on 61 Cook Street for me. They'll let the bank do it because for them it's just business. And I'm picking that it's a Westpac Bank that's got a mortgage on the block at the moment, to the present owners, Simon Roundtree and James Brown. Matt Taylor, just replying to you and a couple of questions you asked today. The ANZ Bank, it's the biggest bank in New Zealand, the main branch I'm in Queen Street. So I've given this book to them, and also wanted to give one to the police, Aaron Pascoe, Detective Senior Sergeant Criminal Investigator Aaron Pascoe. So I emailed him a copy. It's the affidavit. That's what he said to the Tūhoe tribe when the lady asked him, I'm not a terrorist, you're calling me a terrorist, am I a terrorist? And he said, yes, you are. And she says, what authority have you got? And he says, read my affidavit. Aaron Pascoe, this is an affidavit. In here, the whole thing is written up in such a way that the British understand it, and you don't understand it because you're ignorant to the fact that we're dealing with the Crown in England here, in the King, not the Queen, the King. You are the Queen, and the Queen's abandoned you. So I want you to tell the people who you swear the oath to. When I put an affidavit together for you, you must refute it. You must refute it, because what happens when any policeman turns up on that property, they're going to put the whole police force in jeopardy. Because you're the one that's handling the crime, the criminal case of fraud. In any case, you're the one that told me, Aaron Pascoe, to take it to the court. You see, you drive me into your court. I said, no, I'm not going to the court, it's corrupted. And so you said, well, it's not a good idea to go onto the section of 61 Cook Street. I'll keep on going on about this 61 Cook Street, because it's going to collapse the whole lot in the domino effect after this one has gone through. You're going to have to tell everybody what gives you authority to make decisions for the people on that land block. One is this: you're a policeman acting as a policeman for the community and the people and the business interests, right? More so the business interest on that land block, because it's a corporate company operating there. Many corporate companies operating there that you want to protect their fraud business. Okay? It's a fraud business in Doug Rickard Bell, who's one of the tenants in there on that property that he sold to you, David, James Brown and Simon Roundtree. You bought a fraud title. Okay? So I just want to explain this book, Matt, to you guys in England, and to Christie, putting together the Hebrew titles in Australia, and very good for the Aborigines in Australia, the native Australian tribes. He's very good. So I've spent a bit of time on Skype with him today, just to let him know that he's going to be using the King William IV authority from me. He's sent something to me, and I'll authorise him to hook onto our flag and King William and the indigenous people, because this is the world flag, free passage through the world, for more than just the native people of New Zealand who have the contract. It's a contract with them and also other people around the world that it eventually ended up with, of whoever's using this flag. If it's the Vatican's using it, I know, and the Queen's using it, we'll seize everything off them because it's our contract. They're third parties. If they're using this flag, they won't tell you. They won't. I'm just telling you, Aaron Pascoe, you watched this video, I'm telling you, somebody's using this flag illegally and breaking the law, breaching laws again of New Zealand and Britain. Okay? You're telling me, Aaron Pascoe, that if I breach any of the laws of New Zealand, right, then I'll face your police who turn up. If they turn up on that land block, Aaron Pascoe, I've already got a warrant on it. That in our law, in the British, we still have self-government, straight on the 1852 UK British Constitution, which is our right to self-government of our people, right, in Westminster. It's in there. It's in the lower house. Okay, so I'm going there to put our flag, this flag, up in Westminster. I'll put it up on Plymouth first, Matt, because that's King William's property, his estate of the Navy base in Devonport, where he spent his 50 years putting together the mortgages, okay, putting these mortgages together, okay, and so we're going there to set up his flag and his King's Bench Court there. So really the Lords, House of Lords is really there in place of the King. Until the King comes back, you wouldn't need the House of Lords anymore. Wipe the whole lot out when Scotland goes and breaks off from the other bad Scots who went with the no vote. Okay, all those Scots you're watching the video, you went with the no vote. That means the yes votes, got 45%, are gathering all the yes voters together, and this is going to prove by the time they go and declare an independent state, okay, independent state, then it'll show how many people truly voted yes. And there's going to be trouble for David Cameron and the Queen and everybody else in the Rothschild families who have rigged this up. You're going to get a bill from Moai and King William IV, right? Because we're getting in there with the Scotties and we're going to clean you lot out, Matt. We're going to clean them out, right? The Scots and you and all the others who are going to jump in there. We're going to jump in there in Plymouth and come in from that angle, right? With the King's Bench orders straight from there, okay? They can't stop us because we've got the rights under this contract, okay? Under the contract. Now, I just explained this book, the front page here, okay? You can see that. You can see it online. I'm showing people who haven't got Facebook and who haven't got internet. Okay, so here we've got King William himself in his Scottish regalia, because he's the King of Scotland, Ireland, England, and Hanover, Germany. Okay, so he's got that much going with his seal over here, and here's Aaron Pascoe here, Detective Sergeant, saying they don't recognise any of this. Okay, and I'm telling him in a video today, right, that he got here on this. He got here into this country on this title, right, of King William IV. There's no other way anybody in the world would have got around from without the Westminster authority of a king and his British crown. That's his crown and anchor, British crown, right? All these people here in New Zealand are going to get a bill from there. All those people under John Key, 1 million, Matt, out of 4.2 million people in this country, only 1.2 million people voted. That just shows you half of them are missing, like Scotland. Half of them are missing. So that's the level of confidence that people have in this government here that's running rife. Okay, so this is to Doug Ricard Bell, right? This whole book is directed to 61 Cook Street. It's always going to be around forever and a day. It's going to be around forever and a day as this book form, and it's never going to go away. It's never going to go away, and we're going to see justice. Okay, justice. Sorry about that. We're going to see justice done in the courts. In the courts. Okay, in the courts. We're going to see justice done in the courts in front of the whole world about what the colonial governments of Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and even America are doing to violate the laws of Westminster and us, the Indigenous people. You're dicing with British law here, and with the flag, Matt, with the flag, the New Zealand flag. Do you see what they're doing now on Facebook? They're cutting it up. The mongrels are cutting the Union Jack out of the flag. This is how arrogant and ignorant these Australian Pākehā white men here in this country, like Aaron Pascoe, these police are protecting their business, their fraud business. That's why they didn't see any fraud in anything in this book. Anything that you're reading on my site that I'm accusing people, putting their names in boxes, right? And they think it's a joke, like Aaron Pascoe is thinking it's a joke. You see, you can see at the back here, right? Doug Ricard Bell in the box. What does he do? Nothing about it. Like they can't see it. Like Aaron Pascoe is saying today. He's saying they don't recognise these documents that are sealed with the King's seal on it. Okay, and you've got Rothschild here, right? You've got the Black Pope here, Adolfo Nicholas Patron. He's gone. He's run away. Okay, and you've got the Queen over here, right? We're going to arrest her, Matt. We're going to arrest her with this King's Bench warrant, with one of these, one at a time. You can only do arrest one at a time. You can't take the crown because it's got no head. You need somebody with two legs, okay? And this is what Aaron Pascoe, he's got this because I issued him this book, right? I issued online, I've emailed it to him, so when he presses the button, he's in contract with me. Matt, did you know that? Electronically in a contract, as soon as he press the accept button, he's in a commercial contract with me because he answered my email with all of this in. And he's belittling this Scottish man, the King William IV, that got him onto these lands with his Admiralty law, okay? And he's saying he doesn't recognise this flag here of Admiralty that got him here, right? This is how arrogant these Australian, they're going to get it, they're going to get Bill to hell, and there's King William's crown on his head. This is a crown like the Queen's got on her head. Now I'm running this crown, Matt, I'm running this crown as a surrogate king of England, okay? The surrogate king of England. I can speak for him from this book. That's why it's published. That's why it's published today with his star, okay? With the sheriff badge there, the sheriff's badge, right, of King William's seal in the middle, the 8-point star with one of the stars is now King William IV instead of Victoria, Queen Victoria, because she's corrupted by Queen Elizabeth II and she's run off with all the money out of the HM Treasury, right? Because that's what George Lee says. He's a professor, he should know. He says that she's cleaned it out and taken off with it, right? She's abandoned the place. But this is the sheriff's badge that I've showed Aaron Pascoe, and he says they're not legal and they're not binding. Well, this is binding. This is if those people, the Vatican, right? The Vatican, the popes are using this, right? They're using this. Why? It's because King William liked popes, right? He liked popes because he's Hanover, German side of the Vatican, and so, but he didn't like them. He didn't like his brothers, King George, his brothers, right? Because they were mixed up in the bad side. He was a good man, okay, like Tesla, right? He was another Tesla, okay? So this crown and anchor is in Plymouth. So I put his crown and anchor back, and this is the British crown. That's the British crown, right? And we're putting this 8-point star has been the eight states in the world, including King William's state in Britain, right? And his immigrants here, and we'll knock out Aaron Pascoe and the other Australians and send them back to prison in England. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you, why that he wouldn't entertain any of this. Okay, so this is the back pages of the warrant, the last 6 pages, and this is the arrest warrant of the Queen here in the World Court. Alright, just to show you people, this is real. Okay, when we go to England, we're going to use this warrant for Kevin and Ed and the Cree Indian nation. This is their part of this contract that they have with the Queen that we're going to finish off ourselves, because only a monarch like myself, indigenous at that, native, and my surname, can go up against a monarch and arrest another monarch. Okay, a citizen can't do that. A civilian can't arrest a monarch, only a monarch. Okay, that's what I'm telling you, Matt. I'm going there as a monarch. And these other chiefs here at Waitangi, right? These are the ones I represent at Waitangi, where everything, the contracts were signed, right, with this flag, and they are the ones I represent, right? They are the ones I represent with this flag that the chiefs went to England, right, to set it up, to keep these marauding people and these pirates out. So those pirates in Australia, this is Doug Rickard Bell on that Cook Street. He's from there. He's a property developer from Sydney. He come here. See, another Australian. They come here and push their wares and their business here with their policemen, and they're the same type of people who are ripping the place off. Now you've got Judge Mackey here, right? These are on the Facebook site, and you've got Sean Elias. We're going to Bill her. She's the one that set up the Queen, and the Queen, the new Supreme Governor of Church of England in the Supreme Courts, right? Now she's going to go for a skank. If Aaron Pascoe thinks he can use his federal state law in the Supreme Court here in Australia, the Commonwealth of Australia, right? That's fraud too, because they're using our acts in the Maori Native Land Act, okay, 93, Te Turi Whenua as well, okay, so they're using that illegally, and going to make a big case out of it. I'll put that in there too. So Judge Mackey, Judge David Lindsay Mackey there in the High Court of Admiralty in London, he's got our complaints. He's going to get another complaint from 61 Cook Street, a fourth one. They've already got 3 there, this is going to be the 4th one, okay? So we've got Jeff, HRH, Prince Regent Jeff Foley, Lord High Constable, Magistrate of Lorehaven Castle in Wales. We can use him and his warrants to arrest the Queen as well as a king. He's a king, okay? We've got a live king there, and me as the surrogate for King William, the financial part of our trust, right? I'm making the trust the King's Trust, okay? King William Trust. There's his seal there. That's his Admiralty seal that were put in front of Aaron Pascoe, and he said they don't recognise any of this, right? Any of that. This is how stupid and arrogant these Australian Pākehās who come from Britain. They come from Britain. The Pascoes come from Britain, okay? And that's what he does to your British people. He's gone and thrown egg in all your faces and belittled you, and he's made scapegoats out of you since he's left home in Britain, okay? So there's our warrant. That's the warrant there, okay? That's the warrant on 61 Cook Street there, and these are going to the High Court of Admiralty, okay? They're going to High Court of Admiralty. I've got to do that, and my people waiting down home for me we'll have to wait now because this Aaron Pascoe mongrel has gone and delayed things by making me wait to, instead of me, should have been on the section today arresting the property. Okay? In Admiralty law, I had every legal right to go and arrest it. It's a private matter, it's a private contract. Nobody can get involved with it. Even if someone complained to the police, it's got nothing to do with anybody. We have a business going on here, a debtor. We've got a debtor, I've got every right as a surrogate advocate of King William to do a constable's job and arrest anybody with enforcing these laws, okay? I can arrest anyone with these laws in our law, okay? We got our law, they got their law, okay? I'm getting my authority already as a king's partner, okay? So that's part of the warrant. The front bit of it, of the first page of the last 6 pages, is the actual receipt for the offence. This was the road, the little road on Cook Street, going through the centre of the section. Was still a Crown road inside a private contract, a private certificate, freehold. They turned it into a freehold, but the road was separate, and it's still on lease land. Okay, so they've sold a lease. The lands in Auckland here are lease lands plus a freehold land title, the 2 interests in the land. So Aaron Pascoe don't know how that works. You see, he's not a real estate like I've been. The road, what they did was they couldn't get rid of the investors who put $300 million into that land block, 2.8 hectare land block, to make the high rise of 115 stories, higher than the Sky Tower. The plans are there. We're going to seize the property and then build a new plan. I've got a new plan better than that one. Okay, Matt? It's been held up. It's been held up. They won't build on it because there's a problem with the title. They know there's a problem. That's why they won't build and spend a lot of money on it, because they'll lose it. They're still going to lose it anyway. What they did was this. The Land Register General couldn't transfer the land because Doug Rickard Bell, Jamie Peters, got in trouble with the mortgage, his mortgage, because he committed himself to this building I'm in to build it, right? And then the Gulf Harbour properties, this property developer, and both him and Doug Rickard Bell, property developers from Australia, okay? Australia, right? All the thugs, pirates, have come from Australia, right? All those pirates that got kicked out of England are in Australia, and they're acting like this. They're running this place in Wellington, right? They're running this place in Wellington, rife, and they're creaming it like Judith Collins, creaming it and taking all the taxpayers' money, right? Making them pay for it. It's cost 500,000, at least 500,000, for the mistake that Aaron Pascoe did with 2 Hoi tribes, right? 2 Hoi tribes. He had no legal authority to use court-martial law from Australia on a New Zealand citizen, right? You can't do that. He breached our own law, and yet here he is telling me, don't breach New Zealand laws, right? Because you'll be dealt with. You see? And there he is, goes and breaks them. And what the police do? Put him there. They won't get rid of him. They put him there to do it again and again and again, right? That's how they operate. They don't care. Well, this time you're going to get a boot. He's going to get a boot, Matt. He's going to get a boot, because if he can't refute this affidavit, the next one, out of this one, then he goes. He goes. Or the whole police force will get indicted this time again. They're already indicted. Okay? He's committed them. He's committed them. And he thinks it's a joke, and they don't recognise any of it. The British will have something about that, because we're still with the British, with this flag. They didn't give it to us for nothing. They didn't give it to us for nothing. The government over here legislated this flag out. They did, not us. Not us. We haven't done anything with it yet, right? We're using it now. We're using it in our way, right? The British will recognise us with this flag. When we go there, up she goes. Okay, so that's what they did. They got rid of all these 11 investors. They got rid of us and our interest in the title that we had. They had an obligation, and by law, to put the names of the original owners back on the title. Well, they didn't, because they're going to get caught, because it's a British title. Okay? It's a Manukau Land Company title that sold these lands in Auckland. You won't find it anywhere on their titles. They've got other chiefs and Ngāti Whātua o Rākei on their titles, you see. I've already had it out with them. They can't refute the affidavits I've got for the title of Auckland, right? We've got all that. When we go to do a big case, the whole lot of them will lose, right? And I can put the figure on everything, on everybody who's voting for John Key, for these government in Wellington, because that's illegal as well. Everything they've done with the Constitution and their jurisdiction with the paddle is illegal. Using the 1993 Te Ture Whenua Act, Land Act in Australia, Native Land Act, is illegal. Using the 1986 Constitution here in Australia and swapping sovereignties is illegal, highly illegal and serious offences, more than breaching the laws of New Zealand. Okay? The laws of New Zealand are breached forever and a day by the government, and breaching the Treaty of Waitangi, breach. Over and over again, the Crown breaches its own laws. Okay? The Crown these are our lands. They are governing our country on our behalf. That's why they only got 3 years and they have to vote again, because it's only temporary. Right? We have the right to sack them, man. We have the legal right, I have the legal right with this, to sack them. I'm not going to sack them, I'm going to bleed them to death. I'm going to bleed every bit of money out of them and put it in King's Trust. King's Trust, okay? Back in not the Queen's Trust, King's Trust. All I'm doing with that section, Matt, is terminating the occupation of the Manukau land, okay? The Manukau land title of the Manukau Land Company, real estate company in Glasgow, who sold his lands to these settlers here, over in the shore, in Devonport, across the shore in Auckland here, to Devonport in England. Okay, you see, and Plymouth, in New Plymouth, to Plymouth in England. See? There. That's Plymouth. There. Right? Plymouth. There. His memorial. Okay? Plymouth. To New Plymouth in New Zealand. Right? And he says they don't recognise it. What a kick in the head to Britain. Now you know what to do, eh, Matt? As British people, to these other British people who came to this country and to the Commonwealth countries. Boot them. Boot them out. They're on their own. They're sailing on their own when we take the Admiralty off them. I'm going there to strip them of the Admiralty. They'll have nothing in their courts. Okay? And the Queen's gone. She's gone to hide in the Vatican and in the New World Order. That's going to go too. Okay? The Russians is going to split that up in bits. Okay? And their fraud Obama. So in here you'll see the acts of King William IV. Okay? This is Matt, this is a court. This is a court here on the spot. 2-hour court hearing is here. All over. You're either right or you're wrong in this court. Okay? Everything in the Moai King William Court is in this book. That's all required to finish anybody off in a court case. Online. Straight into the High Court of Admiralty in London. That's what I'm saying in the video to you people. That I'm not here as a joke in front of this New Zealand offensive government. Okay? They're very offensive people. And they've always been like that, like Helen Clark. She's going to get a bill too. We're going to extradite her out of there, straight to London. Right? She's going to be answerable in the High Court of Admiralty in London and Plymouth. If they can't get in there, you go to Plymouth. Okay? We'll set the court up over there, Matt, and John Patterson and them, and set up the whole legal system and start all over again. Okay? With the new Scotties in Westminster Parliament. So we've got all there is in this book, right? There's 78 pages. Okay, 78 pages in the book. You can bind it up. It's online. Okay, so this is the Bible. No one's to use it. It's an offence to use any of this with the seals on it. Okay, don't any Maoris or any Indigenous people use this book without telling us. Right? Without telling us. Because we're going to join everybody up under this flag, the Free Passage flag, through the well. That's what it is. Right? It gets you around the well and give you the same status as us as membership. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say today, Matt. Is just to catch up with where we are. You asked the question, breach. I answered to you on Facebook. The breach we're talking about here is going to be something that disturbs the bank's business and their clients, Simon Rowntree and James Brown, on their land block. Right? They're saying that they have a financial interest in the block. Well, so do I. I'll put this into the bank. I have a financial interest now because US debtors, okay, debtors in the fraud. I'm proving in front of the bank, our bank, to go and check it out, check the fraud out, check it out to see if this is true. Okay, to see if this is true. If it's found to be true, Aaron Pascoe will hang under the Hanging in Chains Act in debt. Hanging in Chains Act is still there. We've got a legal right to use this X in our sovereign state. Okay, we've got our own sovereign state. We can run ourselves. That's our business. That's our private business with the government of England. Okay, that's why. Okay, Matt. That's what I'm saying. Our private business in England. Right? The land laws of England is what we are doing here in dual government with England, okay, with Westminster, okay, with Westminster. So I just want to tell you the breach, if I forget, the breach is more than likely be something in the community to upset. In that block of land is only corporate business, corporations. Okay, it's not private, it's not public, it's corporate business. Okay, so it'll affect them as tenants if we cut the occupancy off the title, right, and reissue new tenancy agreements. That's what I'm doing with this. The tenancy agreements are in here, in this slide, right, to take any land in the Commonwealth after this one. Okay, just to warn you people. We're always going to tell you our intentions. I'm just telling Aaron Pascoe at the police station, he's the only one who's trying to stop this. He's committed a crime already and breached the Constitution here and the jurisdiction of what jurisdiction he's going under. Right? That's one thing. He's trying to get away with it now by saying if you break New Zealand laws. So which one is he going to break? So I'm going to ask him. I'm going to write to him tomorrow, right, and ask him which laws am I breaking or breaching if I go onto that land. Tell me which ones so I know it'll make my job easier so I can address them. Right? I'm going to ask him tomorrow in an affidavit. Tell me which one. Right? Tell me which laws or acts of Parliament that I'll be breaching if I walk onto the land and issue new tenancy agreements. And reoccupy the land because it's a fraud and they've left our name out from the Manukau Land Company in Glasgow who put the titles on there in the first place. It's not showing up on their land information titles, the New South Wales, Australian title. They're running this country from Australia. You are not allowed to do that, Aaron Pascoe. You are not allowed to run another sovereign country from another sovereign country, right? You have no sovereignty for a start. That's got you. That's got you in this, right? I'll indict you for everything you're going to breach in your own law to hang yourself. And we'll hang you with the rope in here. The Hanging in Chains Act, 1834, King William IV. Okay? I mean it. I really, really mean it, what I'm saying, because I'm allowed to say that, right? I'm allowed to say things like that in front of the British government, right? I think they think you're idiots. I think they think you're idiots to cut the flag up. How arrogant and ignorant is that? How ignorant is that? Why don't you get your own flag instead of mutilating and abusing our nation's flag? Right? You get booted out of here. I'll get the British military to come and boot your fucking asses out of here. You mongrels can go back to England and lock you up where you came from. Your surnames. Take the whole lot of you out of here. I'll pick them all. I know which ones are going. I know which ones are going, Matt. And take them back to England and lock them up. Or Guatemala or somewhere. Anywhere. Anyway, if you don't want them, well, take them somewhere else. Put them in a container ship and take them somewhere else. Make them hard labour. Just what they deserve. Like Judith Collins. Right? Milking the system. Milking the system. Her husband's a Chinese with a milking company. Right? Milking everybody here. Right? In the government. For themselves. And their corporate business. Like Cook Street. Corporate business for themselves. Right? I haven't finished with them yet. I haven't finished with Ngāti Whātua, these people over here. I haven't finished with them yet, man. Right? There's a lot of people to deal with. I'm going to clobber the whole lot one hit with this book. This is a court on short 2 hours. 2-hour court cases in the Rolls building in London is digital, electronic. Right? Anybody can do this in the world. You can run your court hearings straight there. This one went straight to the judge, straight past the marshal in the front office. But why? Because it was over 200 million claim, right? Debtors, right? That property is 5 billion. We're going to get 5 billion out of that property. Out of everybody that's indicted in here. Okay, man? All the people, including, I'll name them. I'm going to name them here, right? You got Chris Finlayson, the Attorney General of New Zealand, Treaty Settlements, right? Attorney General, Crown, right? Crown. He ticked it off. He approved the forging of the title under Don Grant, the ex-Australian retired Survey Land Register General. Okay? They bought him out of retirement here because these titles are Australian. Right? Bought him out because he understands the titles. Bought him here, put him into Land Information New Zealand, LINZ, then forged this title in this little receipt here on that little block of land. Okay? I'll put the evidence there, and this criminal fraud investigation detective, senior sergeant, couldn't see anything wrong with it. Right? Couldn't see anything wrong with it as being fraud. And there they are, fraud. And I know, being in real estate and a broker, a financial broker, what a fraud is. Eh? What a fraud is. He's there to cover it up. He's there to cover their ass. Well, he's not going to get away with this one. He's not going to get away with it, man. Right? He's going to be the downfall and the sword right through his ass in front of the whole world, humiliated on Facebook. Right? Humiliated on Facebook. Just as well we're not like you in your country, where if you poke fingers at the Queen, you'll get arrested. Right? Just as well we got humanity here, where we don't get that far extreme. Because why? It's because they don't have the title papers to this country. That's why they can't do anything. Nobody trusts this government because they haven't got full security of this country. We have. This is it. This is the security title for this country. You stupid ass Aaron Pascoe. This is the title to this country. Right? Everything in it. Right? Everything in it. And not your acts. Right? That's for your people. Your unruly people have got that many acts to keep you mischief people. This is only a few acts. Just enough to hang you. Just enough to hang you. Not you, Matt. That's for. Okay? And my mate Jamie just messaged me on Facebook. I should be up here Friday to give me a hand. Give me a hand. Because I need a hand. Trying to do these things all by myself. So she can speed things up. Speed things up. Okay? Yep, severe heart up and give me a hand. So, breach. One more time. Matt, breach. Haven't finished that one yet. So we got breach. We got the Constitution, breach of the Constitution. That's one. Right? The New Zealand law. Right? That's my one. Right? Breach of the Constitution. Jurisdiction. The jurisdiction, using the jurisdiction of Australia, using the sovereignty of Australia in this country. That's another one. These are breaches that he's breached, right? And the Tūhoe raids, using terrorist law on this country without authority. That's another one. Take the complaint straight into the High Court of Admiralty. A complaint straight in there to bill his ass. To bill his ass. Okay? You're going to get billed a little bit at a time until they bleed to death. Bleed the bloody living daylights out of them, man. Okay? That's what I say. Okay? I've been mild. Been very mild. Not wild, mild. Okay? We're going to make a movie out of this. Yeah. You're going to have an act in it? Oh, fair enough. Have an act too. Take a part. Right? Front part. So we got the, I better finish the breach. And we got the breach for any law that I might break. Okay? Any law that I might break was to cause a nuisance on the land. This is what I'm saying. Be very careful when I go in to take it, that there's nothing to stop me from taking it legally. Okay? I'm going to stick to the law. I'm going to stick to the law and see who breaks the law first. Okay? Who breaks the law first. I'm going to name all the things that he's going to break. Okay? I'll put them there. His law. He's talking about New Zealand law. We're going to put a list here of all the breaches he's going to break. Right? Because he's already broken some to prove it cost over $500,000 already for the Tūhoe raids that he caused. He caused. Aaron Pascoe caused. And there's the police leaving him to do another one. This one will be 3 to 5 million. Right? For this case, stuff up. Puck up he's going to do. He's just getting into it again to create another debt for New Zealand taxpayers. Right? They had to fork out for his mistake. He should be shot by this Execution Act. There's another act here in this book. Execution Act. He should be shot. Right? I don't mind saying it because I can say it. I can talk like that because I'm talking for the king and quoting from here. Right? So he can't say I'm threatening him. No, I'm quoting from our law. Okay? You ask the British that, they'll say he's right. Okay? That's what I would say. So breach. Breach, I breach the peace, right? Or I breach stopping people's business and creating a nuisance, changing their tenancy agreements. That's another one. You see? Any of those tenants can complain about me not trespassing yet, but going there and hassling them, right? Hassling them with a takeover or hijacking. Yeah? Any of those things. At the end of the day, Matt, at the end of the day, that's just some of the breaches that he might pull on me, apart from unlawfully being there or illegally being there on private property. Okay? It's a public road going through there, but private property. Right? They'll treat it as something. They would have got something in place in a long time to set a trap for me. Okay? They're going to try and trap me. I'm going to trap them myself. Right? It's going to be him or me. Hit the dust. Okay? Hit the dust. I'm just telling him, those are my lands. He's on. Those are my lands. And he has to prove it's not my land. He can say he's titled, but guess what? Guess what, Matt? In the laws of Section 145 of the Land Transfer Act and the land laws, whoever, and the Admiralty law, mortgages don't count when a landowner is involved. An original landowner is involved with a claim. Okay? So that's what I'm using. I'm using those acts to claim that land over the mortgage. Over the mortgage. This is just claim without the Admiralty, but over the mortgage. The mortgage does not count in law when there's a valid claim against and financial interest on a piece of land, no matter what. That's what he don't know. He's ignorant. He's going to pay personally pay, not the taxpayer. He's going to pay. Aaron Pascoe, you are personally liable, right? The British don't want to pay the bill. The British don't want to pay the bill of anything you do wrong here, because you're still stuck to and using the Imperial Act on the common law, right? It's there. The Imperial's Application Act, 1988, common law. You're using their common law still, okay? There's certain things in these acts you're using and the jurisdictions still linked to Britain. You're still referring to Britain in some form or another. Okay, so don't try and be too clever with your criminal background, because you're supposed to be looking for crime. You're looking right into its eyes on Cook Street, and you are turning a blind eye to the crime. Okay? You're going to get stung with this book because I gave it to you. The whole world is looking at what you say is used against you. Okay? What you said in the email to me will be used against you breaking the laws of New Zealand. I'm going to see how many laws I break, and I'm going to list all the ones you're breaking, right? And I'm going to hang you breaking those in front of me, right? I've got titles. Those are titles over your titles of mortgage, and that's a fact. That's a fact. If we went to your court, you will lose with that. Okay? That's the instructions for doing a court case. It is a warrant, a search and seizure warrant on 61 Cook Street. It's a arrest warrant as well. So I'm exercising for the first time our authority to enforce the seal of King William IV for the first time and his flag jurisdiction ourselves, right? You're hiding this flag, Aaron Pascoe, for the Vatican and Queen Elizabeth sucking the guts out of this flag, and it's free passage through the world, and it's banking trading flag. They'll be buggered without it. They will be buggered without it because they're a third party to this flag. Okay? They're breaching our law. You're breaching our law, right? You hid this away from everybody. Okay, man? That's all I wanted to say. I was making a little short clip, turned out too long. Anyway, I'm glad that you're supporting us. So we're a little bit delayed. I had to get this done for the bank. The bank has got this now. They'll investigate, because I'm going to ask them. It's business for them. There's $5 billion worth in there on 61 Cook Street. $5 billion worth to go in our trust. Okay? To go in our trust for the people who join us. All those people who are joining and thinking of joining Moai from around the world, because you're going to have the same rights as I have here in this, no different from me. Okay? And don't forget, I'm here for the people, not for myself, and for our people here in New Zealand as well. And we're going to fight this beast off with this book and make the flag work for us. Make the flag work for us. They haven't got anything like this original, right? Original. They got spare parts, right? They got spare parts, the government I'm talking about, New Zealand government, spare parts of a flag they're pulling to pieces and making something out of spare parts and pulling the King George to pieces, okay? They are mutilating your status in Britain. You know what you want to do with them? Get rid of them. That's what I'm saying. And the Scotties over there and the Scotties over here in the Kaipara, let's talk. Let's talk. I know all about the Kaipara. You were here before the marriage, sure. You were here before the marriage, because there wasn't any marriage. There wasn't any marriage, Matt. They only came in 1945. There was an invention of the Crown. Made all our hapu, clumped them in like sheep in a paddock, into a yard, then called them iwis. Right? That's what they did. They called them iwis and Maori. That word Maori was not around when the British came here. There was no such thing as Maori. Okay? That's why the Scott got here before the marriage. They were right. They are really right. And that's the end of Maoris. Okay? They're still called Maoris because that tribe belongs to the Rothschilds and the Queen. Okay? They did it cleverly and they did it for themselves. Okay? So I think I'll answer your question enough about breaches, but I can always do that again. And I haven't got anybody to interview me, so I had to interview myself. I find that quite amusing. And pity I haven't got a guitar to sing a song. Anyway, I better go because it's getting longer and longer. And we'll see you again tomorrow. We'll keep you posted on progress. After I wrote to the Judge David Lindsay Mackey in the High Court of Admiralty in London, and also to Mike Bush, the Commissioner of Police, to complain against this Aaron Pascoe. Aaron Pascoe, I'm going to complain against you because I'm going to tell Mike Bush that you are going to cause more financial costs to the taxpayer. You're no good making another big mistake. You are making a big mistake getting in the road of liens, commercial lien. Right? You're getting in the road of commercial liens here. Okay? And contracts. You're that fucking dumb that you were put there to do that, to upset me or anybody else who tries to stymie your fucking fraud business. Right? That's what it is. You are corrupted. I'm accusing you now because your name is in the box. Your name is in the dock box, ready for trial. Okay? It's sitting there. It'll sit there forever and a day until you come in front of a judge and he'll whop your head off. Right? Because that's the law. He's got it in there, in here. He's got it in here. Right? So that's what this says. Okay? It's very severe. I'll tell you. Moai law is very severe. See, you're in a box like that already on Facebook. And you know what? You can't do a fucking thing about it. You can't do a bloody thing about it. You can't get it out because the British will say, don't touch it. Because that's coming into the court and they're going to rake you to pieces for it. Right? You can never get it out. Anybody in this country who plays up on that 61 Cook Street, anybody who's tied up and gets involved with that while I'm on it, and with this, is going to get slammed, right? You're going to get slammed real good. And any of those people who are watching on 61 Cook Street, the tenants, do not ring the police. Whoever rings the police is going to commit all you tenants. I warn you now. I warn you now, all you tenants on 61 Cook Street, right? You must know what's going on. You must know what's going on. I'm going to tell you once. Do not ring the police and complain when I come on there to bring the new tenancy agreements in this contract. Right? Straight to Britain. In this contract. If you interfere with what I'm doing, you're going to lose everything you own. At your home, everything. Your car, everything. In your business. You're going to lose a lot. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now that you will lose everything. Okay? So, I'm just telling you, do not ring the police.